Hi, my name is Rachel. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a book haul. Now, I did just post my entire TBR video, which I will link in the card and down below. However, I didn't know that I was going to go book shopping to this extent after I posted that. I thought I was going to get maybe one or two books. And when I went into my Barnes & Noble, they were having a 50% off sale. So I went a little crazy. So just tack these on to the end of that video. Why don't you? Okay, I'm going to stop blabbing and get right into it. The first book I have here is Night Bitch by Rachel Yoder. And I don't know much about this, but I feel like it might be a vampire novel. Let's find out. An ambitious mother puts her art career on hold to stay at home with her newborn son, but the experience does not match her imagination. 2 years later, she steps into the bathroom for a break from her toddler's demands. So real. Only to discover a dense patch of hair on the back of her neck. In the mirror, her canines suddenly look sharper. Her husband, who travels for work 5 days a week, casually dismisses her fears from faraway hotel rooms. As the mother's symptoms intensify, her temptation to give into her new dog impulses peaks. Okay, so it's not vampire, it's werewolf. And she struggles to keep her alter canine identity secret. Seeking a cure at the library, she discovers a mysterious academic tome that becomes her Bible, a field guide to magical women, a mythical ethnography, and meets a group of mommies involved in a multi-level marketing scheme who may also be more than what they seem, an outrageously original novel of ideas about art, power, womanhood. Okay, great. Okay, this sounds like, as a mother, it's going to be relatable. I'm not a werewolf, so can't relate there, but I think that the werewolf is going to be a metaphor for something. Women often lose themselves in motherhood. And so I wonder if it'll be about like rediscovering her own identity, rediscovering who she is through this werewolf situation. And then the random multi level marketing scheme group is so odd. It reminds me very specifically of Lucy Undying, which is a vampire novel, which also has a multi-level marketing scheme in it. So a very random thing to like appear in a book, a supernatural-esque book, and yeah, I'm excited. The cover is just slabs of meat. And now the term night bitch makes sense because night, moon, bitch, female dog, werewolf, were-dog, were-mommy. I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued. I've heard great things about it. It also is now apparently a movie, which I haven't seen or seen like marketing for. So if I read this and like it, then I will be able to watch the movie after, which is always fun. The next book I have here is Blood Over Bright Haven by Emma Wong. I read The Sword of Kaigen by this author late last year, and I did really love it, even though I had some small gripes with it. But that was a self-published novel, and this is traditionally published, so I'm really looking forward to seeing if her writing skill has grown and if this was a little bit more fine-tuned. I think it could be amazing. From what I understand, this is about a girl who really wants to be like one of the first female magis, and she attends this university where people just treat her absolutely awfully. Like they are so condescending, demeaning to her, and she's supposed to have this lab partner. Yeah, so she's supposed to be paired up with another high mage of this school, and then they pair her up with a janitor, and it's definitely like they're setting her up for failure. But I think that the janitor is somebody who has also been oppressed by these people. I believe that his tribe was like decimated or hurt by these people in the past, and he's very like wanting to learn what they know. So I think that he can probably get revenge, I would assume. But apparently the two of them start working together and discover something that could be like really important to either their goals or like I can't remember if it was like something dangerous, but they work together, they find something that they can use or need to save people from. But working together, they uncover an ancient secret that could change the course of magic forever. Ooh, okay. So, something that could change magic, whether that's the way they learn it or the people who are allowed to use it, is intriguing. It's kind of dark academia feeling, with like very fantasy vibes in this like university of magic and industry. So I can't wait to read this one. It sounds so good. And I have high expectations because The Sword of Kaigen was so good. And this one is actually on my 5-star predictions list, which if you haven't watched it yet, will be out before this one, so I will link it in the card and down below if you'd like to check out the other books on the list. The next book I bought is The Gate of the Feral Gods by Matt Dinniman. I think this might be one of my favorite like little illustrations there on the front. Princess Donut just looking absolutely stunning in those sunglasses. But I still have only read book 1. I am about to start book 2 soon. I'm going to be buddy reading it with somebody in my Discord. Actually, 2 people. I think Inez and Jade will be buddy reading this with me in my Discord, book 2. That is not this one. If you don't know, Dungeon Crawler Carl is about a man who survives the end of the world, ends up in a dungeon, which is a reality TV show hosted by aliens. And it is very post-apocalyptic-y, lit RPG, humorous, crazy, action-packed. It's a little dude bro, people like to describe it as, which I don't know. I don't know if I like that description because I know a lot of girls and women who enjoy it. So just take that with a grain of salt, I guess. But it is so fun. This is such a fun series. And I say that I've only read book 1, but I just know that the rest of the books are equally as fun. Everyone says that if you love book 1, you're going to love the rest of the books in the series. They all have that same vibe. So I expect this one to be no different, and I can't wait to continue the series. And I really hope to get through at least the first 4 this year. I am a very chronic unfinisher of series. I do need to do an updated series I'm currently reading video, which will be out a few videos after this one, but that's neither here nor there. I need to actually read this series this year. I would love to at least get in like the first 4 or 5 this year. So wish me luck. Now, having just read a horror book by Nat Cassidy that I loved so much, I really want to read more horror. And for that reason, I also bought The Troop by Nick Cutter. This is one that I've heard a lot of good things about. I've heard that Nick Cutter is like really visceral in his writing style, and it just like was like gross but also so good. Like I don't know. Brutal, I guess is what people say. So we're going to read the synopsis because I don't actually know what it's about. Once a year, Scoutmaster Tim Riggs leads a troop of boys into the Canadian wilderness for a weekend camping trip. A tradition as comforting and reliable as a good ghost story around a roaring bonfire. But when an unexpected intruder stumbles upon their campsite, shockingly thin, disturbingly pale, and voraciously hungry, ooh, is this a vampire? Tim and the boys are exposed to something far more frightening than any tale of horror. The human carrier of a bioengineered nightmare. Whoa. A horror that spreads faster than fear, a harrowing struggle for survival with no escape from the elements, the infected, or one another. Did they turn on each other? Oh my god, but wait, is this gonna make me sad? It's young boys, isn't it? It's young boys. Did the boys die? That's really sad. This sounds like it's gonna be so good. I love horror that takes place outside or like in nature. If you've ever seen the movie The Descent, like is the movie subjectively like scary and good? I don't know. But to me, like being in the caves and having no escape, and then it's like nature, well, it's natural, like the caves and everything, and then like it's scary shit starts happening to you in there, like that is so scary. Like being out in the woods or being in a cave, like I feel like scary things in a house are still scary, but you have comforting objects around you. You have things you're familiar with, or you have weapons, like easily accessible weapons, like knives or fucking, I don't know, swords or whatever. Or like a pot and hitting somebody over the head with a cast iron skillet, whatever. Like, I feel like you have options to protect yourself, but I feel like there's something more like raw about being like in nature. So I'm really excited for this one, and I'm hoping to buddy read this with the Lit Wizard, who I will link down below. I believe that he's already read this, but a lot of people in his Discord community want to read it, so I think he might do a buddy read for this in his community. So check him out down below if you haven't already. The next book I picked up is one that has been so loved and so popular for a long time, and that is This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amal El Motar and Max Gladstone. I read The River Has Roots by Amal El Motar, and I loved it so much. It was such a folkloric, whimsical fairy tale, and it had a lot of themes of like sisterhood and there was a cutesy like romance in there between a human and a fae. It was about sisterhood and stuff. I know that this is going to be extremely different, and it is two authors and not just the one that I've already read from. But so many people have read and loved this, and I really hope I love it. It's so short. If I love it, that will be great because I just want to. Like, I just want to, you know? I've heard so much about it, the things that I've heard people say about it, the way that other people talk about this. Like, I see the joy and like passion in their faces when they talk about it. So, like, I just want to be a part of that, okay? I want to be involved. I don't actually know what it's about, and I think that this synopsis is very vague, so let's see what we can gather. In the ashes of a dying world, Red finds a letter marked "Burn before reading." So begins an unlikely correspondence between two rival agents in a war that stretches through the vast reaches of time and space. Red belongs to the Agency, a post-singularity technotopia. Blue belongs to Garden, a single vast consciousness embedded in all organic matter. Their pasts are bloody and their futures mutually exclusive. They have nothing in common save that they're the best and they are alone. Now, what began as a battlefield boast grows into a dangerous game. One both red and blue are determined to win because winning's what you do in war, isn't it? What? Okay, I don't actually know what I just read. There's two people called Red and Blue. Are they people or are they these birds? Red belongs to something called the Agency, which is a technotopia, so scientific futuristic-y. Blue belongs to something called the Garden. And the Garden is a vast consciousness embedded in all organic matter. What the fuck? I'm so confused. Some of the blurbs say, "Holy shit, this was good," from V.E. Schwab. That tells me nothing. Another blurb says, "A twisting sapphic time travel fantasy love story that never stops surprising. Readers will reach the end and want to turn back to the start." Okay, so that at least lets me know it's sapphic. It's a time travel fantasy love story. Time travel fantasy love story. Ooh, okay. So I'm assuming blue is the past then, because if red is the technotopia, that would be the future. Okay, I can't lie to you. I'm so confused. I'm so confused, but I'm so intrigued. I hope I'm not too stupid for this. I want to love it. I want to be as obsessed with it as everybody else is. Wasn't this the book that like some guy tweeted and his name was like Cowboy something something? And everybody like the tweet went viral. If I can find it, I'll put it here. But I remember authors being like, I need someone to describe my book that way. So I just want to love this as much as everybody else. I guess I'm having FOMO for this one. And I feel like the hype has died down enough. Like it's been long enough since this has initially, been in the spotlight, even though it is still super beloved. Like I feel like now that I've had some time to let it breathe, and I don't feel as much pressure to be obsessed with it, like I think I will enjoy it. The next book I'm going to haul is Nestlings by Nat Cassidy. I already have Mary by this author, and I had just read When the Wolf Comes Home, which I mentioned earlier. And because of how much I love that book, I immediately bought this one because I want to read everything he's ever written now. I don't know what else he's written. I know he's written Nestlings, Mary, and When the Wolf Comes Home. I will do more research into his backlist if there is more. And I actually have no idea what this one is about. I love this cover. Oh my God. It's so eerie. Gorgeous. Let's find out. Anna and Reed needed a lucky break. The horrifically complicated birth of their first child has left Anna paralyzed, bitter, and struggling with mobility, with her relationship with Reed, and with resentment for her baby. This is going to fuck me up. That's about to change with the words any New Yorker would love to hear: affordable housing lottery. They've won an apartment in the Deptford, one of Manhattan's most revered buildings, with beautiful vistas of Central Park and stunning architecture. Reed dismisses disturbing events and Anna's deep unease and paranoia as the price of living in New York. People are odd, but he can't explain the needle-like bite marks on the baby. What the fuck? This is under 300 pages. Ooh. There is a content warning from the author. A quick heads up about the content of this book. You're going to find marriage troubles, parental trauma, child endangerment, talk images of killing babies, you can do this, Rachel. infanticide, there we go, postpartum depression, suicidal ideation, bodily harm, ableism, internalized and externalized, anti-Semitism, internalized and externalized, claustrophobia, some gaslighting, and a whole lot of bug stuff. There's also a character who is a real racist, sexist piece of shit. Yeah, this being like postpartum depression and like a scary birth is gonna fuck me up, I think. I related so aggressively to When the Wolf Comes Home, and I didn't know I was going to. I had a feeling I would a little bit going into it, but it was so specifically like on par with things I've experienced. I, I'm still fresh off of reading it, so it's been only like 2 days, but wow, what a book! So this one, this one is definitely going to. I can't even speak. I literally can't even form sentences. The premises of Nat Cassidy's books fucking rile me up. Like this is going to fuck me up, and also Mary too, which I have as well. Um, Mary is about a woman going in her mid 40s, going through menopause, I believe, and I'm almost 40. I'll be 36 this year, so like that's gonna be too relatable. This is about a complicated birth and postpartum depression, so like that's gonna be relatable. Yeah, wow. I don't know what else to say except that I'm excited to read this one. If you've read this one, let me know because I feel like I hear a lot of people talk about Mary and When the Wolf Comes Home. I haven't heard as many people talk about Nestlings though. So let me know. I think I'm gonna read a lot of horror this year, and I think because last year was so horrific for me in real life that I'm going to read about fake horror to just make myself feel better. The next book I'm gonna haul is enormous, and that is Legacy of Ash by Matthew J. Ward. I bought it entirely because it's blurbed by John Gwynne and it says a hugely entertaining debut. And I love John Gwynne and I trust his judgment, and it is enormous, and I feel like it's been a long time, probably since where is it? Where am I? What do my shelves look like behind me? It's been a long time, like since I've read a huge book that I've really just sat and like absorbed myself in. I did read Wind and Truth last year, but it took me 3 months to get through the audiobook because I just had so much going on in my life, but I was like actively trying to keep up with it. But I don't know. I feel like this one could just be one that I absolutely lose my mind in, which would be great. Is there a synopsis in this paperback? Why does Orbit do this? Put a fucking synopsis, please. Okay, there's no synopsis on the back or inside this giant fucking book. So I'm gonna read it from Storygraph. A shadow has fallen over the Tressian Republic. Ruling families, once protectors of justice and democracy, now plot against one another with sharp words and sharper knives. Ooh. Blinded by ambition, they remain heedless of the threat posed by the invading armies of the Hadari Empire. Yet, as Tressia falls, heroes rise. Victor Akadra is the Republic's champion, a warrior without equal. He hides a secret that would see him burned as a heretic. Jasiri Trelane is Victor's sworn enemy. A political prisoner, he dreams of reigniting his mother's failed rebellion. And yet, Celine, Jasiri's sister, seeks only to break free of their tarnished legacy. To escape the expectation and prejudice that haunts the Trelane name, as war spreads across the Republic, these three must set aside their differences in order to save their homeland. However, decades of bad blood are not easily set aside. Victory will demand a darker price than any of them could have imagined. Because, baby, now we got bad blood. Okay, I'm excited. It sounds like a classic fantasy story, which is not a bad thing. But it does have a couple of buzzwords. Buzzwords. Don't do this to me, Rachel. But it does have a couple of buzzwords for me. I really love when people are keeping secrets. It says he could be burned as a heretic or whatever. There's also unlikely allies, I believe. They're going to have to work together even though they don't like each other. I also like that there's a brother and sister in here. That could be really fun. I'm basically going into this one looking for a good time. Hope there's lots of action. Hope there's lots of betrayal. John Gwynne said it was good. A hugely entertaining debut, and I'm always here for a good time. And last but not least, I have Gardens of the Moon by Steve Erickson, and this is book 1 in the Malazan books. Malazan, I believe it's pronounced. Malazan Book of the Fallen, I think is the full series name. I don't know what this is about. I do know that people say this series is confusing at first and like hard to get into, but like that intrigues me. I'm a Leo. You can't tell me, oh, this is hard. This is gonna be it's hard. you might not want to do it. Like, no, it's going to make me want to do it just to spite you. So I don't know what it's about. It's a classic series. It's beloved for a reason. Let's find out. The back says, the Malazan Empire simmers with discontent, bled dry by interminable warfare, bitter infighting, and bloody confrontations with ancient and implacable sorcerers. Even the imperial legions, long inured to the bloodshed, yearn for some respite. Yet Empress Lacine's rule remains absolute, enforced by her dreaded claw assassins. For Sergeant Whiskey Jack and his squad of bridge burners, and for Tattersail, their lone surviving mage, the aftermath of the siege of Pale should have been a time to mourn the many dead. But Darujistan, last of the free cities, yet holds out. It is to this ancient citadel that Lacine turns her predatory gaze. However, the Empire is not alone in this great game. Sinister, shadow-bound forces are gathering as the gods themselves prepare to play their hand. Okay, so that actually sounds pretty good. Again, classic fantasy vibes, but some buzzwords for me in here. I saw the word assassins, I saw sorcerers, I saw gods. We love a fantasy war. We don't love war in real life. That's gross, ew. But fantasy war, sign me up. Bloodshed and a brutal empress, apparently. If you've read this, did you like it? I feel like I've seen mixed reviews on this from people. There are definitely the Malazan, like hardcore cultish fans, which I feel like is fair. But I've also seen a lot of people who don't love it. So I would really appreciate it if you could tell me your thoughts down below. And if you've been here before, based on my reading, do you think I'll like it? I feel like I really want to just get into some epic, like thick series, either thick in length or like the, just thick books in general. But I'm so excited. I don't know. I think there's people who are reading it in a Discord I'm in, and I can't remember which Discord that is. So I'll have to figure it out, because I think probably buddy reading something like this would be really fun, because it's definitely super dense and it's super epic. And again, it's a classic. So like, this book came out when I was 9 years old. so it's got big shoes to fill. It's been beloved for such a long time, and it still gets talked about even to this day. So I feel like it has to be good, right? Otherwise it would have just fizzled out. So let's hope I love it. Those are the 8 books I bought at Barnes & Noble recently. Did I need to buy them? No. But you know what? It made me happy. They were also on sale, and I supported authors by purchasing their books. So I'm not going to let my capitalism get me down. Let me know if you've read any of these books down in the comments. And if you've made it this far in the video, leave a moon emoji. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.